You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Matt Migaki, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians. We talk all about their lives and music while sharing killer craft beers. If you've ever wanted to sneak backstage and share a beer with one of your favorite musicians, well, Vox and Hops is the podcast for you. This week on the podcast, I dropped a killer episode with Johannes Ekström of Avatar. There is this episode and over 440 other ones to help you enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. So what are you waiting for? It's time to become a Vox and Hops head. Cheers!
Hey, everyone. I'm back, and this episode is brought to you by the Fear the Riff Expo that's happening on Saturday, October 7th in Brooklyn, New York City. We got a whole ton of gear companies out there. There's going to be barbecue. There's going to be all kinds of good times. You'll be able to actually purchase pedals directly from the vendors right there on the spot. Sam Ash Stores is going to be out there taking your trade-in. So, like, maybe you don't have cash. Maybe you got some old pedals laying around. You can trade in for cash right on the spot. Then turn that into some wonderful, shiny new gear. So we got Wampler's going to be out there, Tomcat. There's a huge list. You can go check it out, Fear the Riff on Facebook, or just Google Fear the Riff. You'll see all the details. Go to feartheriff.com and you can see a list of vendors. And there's more being added every day. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm going to be out there. And if you are going to attend, shoot an email to info@tonemob.com, and I might be able to arrange a little special, sort of VIP show package for you. So let me know, info@tonemob.com, and hopefully we'll see you at the show. This episode is also brought to you by the wonderful and awesome folks over at Sinusoid. Yes, that's right, the Sinusoid cable guys. They are doing something really special right now. They have a cable. If you go to Sinusoid Cables, or Sinusoid.com rather, Sinusoid.com/Houston, they have some cables they are making, and 100% of the proceeds are being donated to help those that had lost their homes or were displaced in the Houston floods that just happened here recently. So if you go to Sinusoid.com/Houston, you can learn more. And we've got something cooking with those guys that we're going to try to help the relief efforts down there even more. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to know more, go to sinusoid.com. Thanks, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the ToneMob.com podcast, the show about guitar tone and the people behind it. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today I have returning none other than Christian Terjesen of Adventure Audio.
Hey, man. How you
doing? What up, Broseph? I'm doing pretty good. I got a little bit of a cold, which I'm sure everyone has already picked up on by now, but other than, affecting my sound of my voice, I'm doing okay.
Dude, you sound great, honestly. I can't even tell that you have a cold.
Well, that's good. Maybe I always sound like I have a cold.
Yeah.
It's like the Hulk, he's always angry.
I feel like George Clooney or someone like that, or like Johnny Depp sounds like they always have a cold when they're like acting, Just like the really like raspy, or like Batman, I guess, is the like correct character. Like, I have a cold, but it's all right.
That's basically how Batman sounds. Yeah. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite Batman?
Well, wasn't George Clooney a Batman?
George Clooney was a Batman. It wasn't a great movie, but he was a Batman. Yeah.
I'd have to say though, Christian Bale probably my favorite Batman. That was like when I was getting into watching Batman movies, and he was Batman. I was like, all right, we have the same first name. Why shouldn't I like this guy?
Yeah, you got to be able to trust the guy, because he's got the same first name. That's the only way to judge a person's character, really, is how like you they are. If they're different than you, they're probably bad people.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we have the same first name, but I don't think we're the same at all. After seeing those videos of him like screaming at like the director and stuff, you seen those videos?
I did. He was so mad.
Yeah, I was like, all right, bro. Once I liked him in Batman and like American Psycho and stuff, and then once I saw that, I was like, come on, dude, like
chill out.
I was upset. Yeah,
you're harsher than the mellow right now.
Right.
Yeah, that was a bummer because I do like him in pretty much everything that he's been in that I've seen. He's like good actor and all that.
Yeah,
but
phenomenal.
You don't like to see your heroes, getting all shady and weird.
Right. I mean, it happens to all of us, I guess. I don't know.
That's what they say.
I don't get like that.
I don't think you will.
I don't think so either. Not making millions of dollars doing American Hustle or whatever it was. That movie kind of sucked, honestly.
Really? I dug it. But then again, on the same token, I don't really remember much about it. So, like, how good could it have been?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember really anything about it. Jennifer Lawrence, right?
Yeah, she was cool. Yeah, she was funny. Oh, she liked she had the science oven. I remember that part.
I don't remember any of it really. Christian Bale played the fat guy. That's what I remember.
With the comb over.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Maybe it's better than, I don't know. I remember that. I remember thinking that part was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're talking a lot about Christian Bale and I'm not hating on it. I feel like I just have a lot of like bad reviews for him. So I feel like we should switch subjects.
Is there a different actor we can talk about, or should we talk about like what you've been up to since last time you came on like a year ago?
Let's talk about. Dang. All right. So, oh my God, dude. So many things have happened in a year. Our shop has moved twice already.
So let's see if I can remember. Let's see if I can backpedal a little bit and revisit where you were. Last time we did this, you were on a rooftop.
Oh yeah,
and you had to bust back into the studio because they locked you out.
Yeah.
And so, are you guys still at that spot? I know you were like renovating the studio / where you live, sort of at that time, or we're getting ready to. So what happened from there?
So we were getting ready to move to a new location. The old Wicked Squid Studios was on the 3rd floor of this building, and the landlord was getting shady, and like there was like water coming through the roof and stuff, and we were like, yo, you got to fix this or we're moving out. And then in February of last year, me and Josh Pettinger, who runs Wicked Squid Studios, were looking around for other buildings in the area, and there was this condemned 2-story, 9,000 square foot warehouse that this guy just he scooped up like 40 buildings in this deal with the city for like a couple $1 million, and then was just straight up going around renovating stuff. And he was like, all right, so you guys want to renovate this place, or you want me to renovate this place? I'll rent it out to you for this much money, blah, blah, blah. And then in 6 months, he had a whole contracting team just pretty much renovate the whole building after it having like the roof collapsed and like, water damage to this 2nd floor and like all this stuff. So now we're living in there, the studio's in there, and the shop is in there. And there's a bunch of other like rooms that we're building for like practice spaces, and we have a whole garage still, and there's like a magazine in the basement that are doing their stuff. Wow. It's like a giant like art complex warehouse kind of thing.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So that's where we're at now. Way different from the last place, the last time I talked to you. It's actually like down the street. It's like you could walk there in 2 minutes from where we recorded the last podcast.
Oh, okay. Wow,
yeah, that's not far.
That's a trip. That's quite the adventure.
Yeah.
I don't see what you see what I did there.
Yeah.
Okay, making sure.
Yeah.
But you've also in amongst that stuff, you've also like released a bunch of things. We did a project together, and all kinds of stuff on the actual company side. So like at the time, it seems like you had the Glacial Zenith and the whatever, and now there's more crazy stuff coming out.
Yeah. We also had the Fuzz Peaks. That was like one of the first ones that I did. That was almost like 3 years ago now. A little bit over that. But yeah, since then, the Dream Reaper has come out, and that, I guess that's been kind of our flagship for this year. After Knobs did a demo for it. Well, there's a whole like backstory behind us and Knobs. We went to the Toronto Pedal Expo at Moog Music. And I had met Scott before. I don't know if he wants his name to be said. I don't know. We met Knobs. We'll keep him kind of ambiguous, even though I already just said his name. But we met in Nashville at NAMM 2 years ago, and then we were going to Toronto because Toronto is only 3.5 hours from Rochester, New York. So we were like, hey, could we crash at your place maybe? Or like maybe we'll find an Airbnb. And he was like, yeah, just come hang out with me. So me and Matt, who also works at Adventure, he does all the analog design stuff. He actually did the Dream Reaper circuit. Anyway, we hung out with him. And then at that time, Matt wasn't a part of Adventure, but he wanted to be. And I was trying to figure out all the details and like legal stuff. And then me and Matt would like talk about what pedals we wanted to make, and Knobs would be like, why aren't you guys like working together? And then we were kind of like, well, we are going to try to, and blah, blah, blah. And then the Dream Reaper came out maybe 3 months after that, after we were like, all right, we should just work together. Like, why are we, doing separate things right now?
Right.
So then he like knew about that, and I guess kind of credited to joining us together. And then we were like, you want to do a Dream Reaper demo video? And he was like, oh yeah, dude, send that thing to me. So then that like blew up because of his outreach, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to like know him as a person, very like down to earth dude.
Nice. Yes, I've been actually wanting to get him on the show. I haven't successfully done that yet. No, not his fault. I just haven't pulled the strings the right way yet. So
I think he's kind of like Daft Punk. He like doesn't want to be a person, I guess. Not that I shouldn't say that, but he wants to keep his identity a secret in a way,
which is interesting.
Yeah,
I get I can kind of understand that to a degree. Like it just makes things a lot easier in some ways, but it also presents its own challenges, I guess.
Right. I mean, he's keeping it totally biased, like he's not putting a personality behind any of it. He's just letting his art speak as his identity, which I think is really awesome.
Is that all he does? I mean, you don't have to tell me too much if he doesn't want it out there, but like everyone's always like, is that all he does is demos? Or is like, does he have a day job? Like no one knows. It's kind of funny. That's why I want to get him on, but maybe.
Right. Yeah. I don't really know, honestly. I don't know that much. I know that he does that, and I know that he's interested in like all kinds of art, but I don't know what he does really.
That's very cool and interesting. That's why I want to get him on the show. Right. Though I don't know if he will or not.
Dude, I honestly don't know that he will. But you can keep trying. Maybe one of these days he'll be like, "Oh, I was doing the Knobs demo the whole time." We'll see. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, he did do another podcast, so he probably would.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I think he did the Ruffian Show. I think.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Dan gets a lot of people. He gets like everybody because like I think he's more like, I don't know, more available than me or something. He gets everybody.
He's really easy to like riff with. I met him for the first time this past summer NAMM at an East Side, or was it on the floor? I don't remember. It was either at East Side Music Supply in Nashville or like on the floor, and he was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Dan." I was like, "I know who you are, man. Your face is on everything. Like, what's up, dude? We've definitely spoke before." And it was just easy to talk to him.
He's a super cool dude. I like Dan a lot, and his show's much more professional than mine.
I mean, it's not. No, come on, it's not more professional. He focuses on a lot more of the like marketing side, I feel like, or like manufacturing side, or like questions that other builders want to hear. I feel like this show is kind of like it's less focused on that and more focused on like we're just guys who like pedals or build gear or amps or whatever, and we're just like talking about random stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and it's actually like I am super interested, like, I'm super interested in the marketing and branding and all that stuff. Yeah. So like it's actually something that like I try to not go into that much on here because most people don't care about any of that. Like,
right. I mean, like, some people do, but those guys listen to Dan's show.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's something that like, I don't know if you know, but like I do the Chasing Tone show with Brian, like, on a regular basis as well. And we're always like, okay, let's not talk about business this time. Like it's really hard for us because we're really interested. And that's what him and I talk about when we're not recording,
Right.
And so it's I don't know. It's a weird thing.
I could see that. That's kind of like when me and Matt are talking about random stuff, which sometimes we do, but then it ultimately leads back to like, all right, so this new pedal idea that we want to do, it's like, we kind of talk about whatever it is, this music, or like, oh, I had like a sweet burrito at John's Tex-Mex or whatever, and then it's like, okay, but then this pedal,
Man, I want a sweet burrito.
Back around. Dude, there's a place in Rochester, John's Tex-Mex, so cheap and it's so good, and they serve beer, and it's like, it's a really small place. Like, there's only maybe like 10 seats to sit down, but like, it's so good.
That does get into something that I was supposed to ask you about. Anthony, our homie over at Sinusoid, wanted me to ask you about the New York food scene and what are some highlights over there. And I'm especially interested because I'm coming to New York City. Well, I think you're going to be there too for the Fear the Riff thing later this year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm super stoked for Fear the Riff. We're splitting a booth with Electrical Audio Experiments. I forget if it's Electronic Audio Experiments or Electrical Audio Experiments. Anyway, John Snyder, awesome dude. Mm-hmm. We're going to split a booth with him. But back to the New York food thing.
Yes.
So I'm in West New York, which is like 6 hours from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, I guess, kind of the same, but it's definitely not New York City food. Like, you definitely get your, like, New York pizza and, like, random stuff like that. But the sushi is definitely not good in Rochester. I feel like I love sushi. I used to work at a sushi place, like, when I was, like, 20 years old. And I'm, like, disappointed that there's no good sushi places here. But what Rochester is famous for is a garbage plate. I think I might have talked about this at the last show.
This sounds familiar, but I can't remember.
So
what's the garbage plate?
So imagine you, like, you're at, like, your dad's friend's barbecue or something. Like, there's, like, a pool and stuff like that, and people are jumping around, and there's, like, sort of, like, waffle fries or, like, those, what are those, like, ridged fries? They're not waffle fries, but they've got, like, the squiggly shape,
the crinkle cut.
Yeah, crinkle cut fries, and like cheeseburgers and hot dogs and beans and like that kind of stuff. So the garbage plate is literally all of that stuff, just like in one like casserole thing, and they just put it on a plate.
Whoa!
Yeah, dude, it's so good. There's a place called Dogtown that's like they're famous more for their hot dogs, but they do such a bomb garbage plate. And you can get hot dog garbage plates or cheeseburger garbage plates or whatever it is, dude. You can get veggie garbage plates. It's crazy.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get full like so easily, but it is definitely a really fantastic hangover cure.
I could go for a garbage plate that sounds like something I could probably recreate over here.
Oh, like, yeah, dude.
I'm gonna have to do some research, but that sounds like we're gonna be coming over. Or I got my dad coming over to watch the which by the time anyone hears this will be over and old news. But watch the Mayweather-McGregor fight here later, and that might be a good solution for munch on.
Yeah, dude, check it. I mean, I'm sure you could make it so easily. You just have all the components. You just put it on a plate. That's it.
Man, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I should have started a food podcast, and then we would have ended up talking about guitar pedals. That's how I should have built this whole thing. This is a food podcast, and then everyone would be like, "What's a square wave?"
It's don't worry about that right now. We're talking about casserole.
I have a weird thing with that word, with the word casserole.
What is that? What is it?
I don't like that word for some reason. Mm-hmm. I know that a casserole can be the most delicious thing in the world, but what it conjures in my head is when you'd go to maybe a potluck or something in 1996,
right?
And there would be just a tuna casserole or something where it was just kind of mayonnaise and canned tuna just thrown together.
Yeah.
Maybe some Lay's chips thrown on top. And that's what I think of when I hear the word casserole. And I obviously never liked it. But that's immediately what comes into my head. And so I'm just I just call it a dish. And I don't think of gross, weird, squishy things. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make
any
sense.
I won't call it casserole anymore. The way you described casserole to me made it sound like the tuna was bad and the mayonnaise was bad, and it was just sitting in the sun, with flies around it.
That's exactly what when someone says the word casserole, that's what comes into my head. And even though it might be this delicious meat dish,
right?
Who knows? It could. I just think casserole. Blah.
Yeah,
it's completely illogical. It makes no sense at all. It's just
dude. I feel like you have to go to a hypnotist and go back to 1996 in your brain and figure out which backyard party you went to, and your mom was like, "Oh, here, eat this," and you're like, "Whoa, no, what the hell?"
Have it erased from my memory.
Yeah, exactly.
That way I can have positive associations with the word casserole again.
Dude, that's so much work, I feel to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to continue to have negative associations with the word casserole. That's way too much work. Way too much work.
Yeah, just go with that, man. That's way easier.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue to roll with it. I don't encounter it enough. It's not like that's a going to casserole with it. I see what you did there. I don't come in contact with that word often enough to go through the anguish of trying to erase it from my memory. I've just kind of told my wife don't call it a casserole. And it's fine. So it's a dish.
Things will be good. It's a dish. Yeah. So anyway, the garbage plate is a beautiful dish.
Yes. It's a French fried casserole.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dude, and now that we're talking about this, I might go to Dogtown after this and get one.
I'm so hungry right now. I'm supposed to be talking about guitar pedals. All I can think of is tacos and everything that's not related to anything.
Yeah, I haven't had lunch yet. What is it, 11 o'clock over there for you?
Yeah, it's 11:15.
Yeah.
So it's still somewhat early in the day.
Right.
But
yeah, I feel like breakfast should be digesting, Well, I don't know. I wake up at 9:30, 10, so...
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's when I have breakfast, and then maybe 2 o'clock, now-ish, I'll go and get some lunch. Maybe I'll do that after this.
There you go.
Yeah. But New York food though. Back to that. Yeah. It's amazing. If anyone comes to New York, definitely. Well, it comes to Rochester specifically, get a garbage plate. But if I were to recommend New York City food, I grew up right around New York City for first 20 years of my life. So I would go into the city all the time. There's a place called Two Bros Pizza. There's a bunch of them in Manhattan and Brooklyn and stuff. Dollar slices, and they're as big as your face.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
dollar slices.
You can't really sit down anywhere. They have tables where you can kind of stand for a second. But if you're a real New Yorker, you just grab the slice, fold the plate, get on the subway. You're on your way.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Like we're gonna be there, me and my wife, for a little bit longer. We're gonna be there for like 6 days or something because we've always wanted to go to New York City and never have. So
right.
I'm gonna be at Fear of the Riff all day for that event, which I'm super excited about. I think Johnny has put together something crazy.
Yeah.
And he's actually sponsoring this episode, so there's that too.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be killer. But I think that event's gonna be like, I met him. I don't think I've really talked about this yet. I've talked about it on the internet, but not on the podcast specifically. But he listens to the show, and he does like a lot of things. He has like a tattoo shop, and he has a hot sauce company, and all this stuff. And he was and he does a lot of like expos and conventions as well. And so him and his partner Steve, who actually runs the Metal Alliance tour. So they're very familiar with like doing shows, basically.
That's great.
Yeah, and I met him
at idea who any of these people were, and I was like, I hope this like goes well. And now that you're saying this, I have a lot more confidence in this event.
That's what I'm like. Like, he told me all this stuff, but like all the guys I talked to that are going, like, then nobody seems to know all. I'm like, no, this is gonna be a banger. Like,
right.
Like, I mean, he's got all these sponsors. I think Revolver's magazine sponsor it, Loudwire, myself, which is like, I'm small potatoes compared to all these people. And just like, yeah, all these big sponsors and all this
Roland
food.
And Boss just joined as a vendor. So, I mean, it's going to be huge.
PRS guitars. I mean, it should be pretty awesome. And, anyway, point is, I met him in person here in Portland. He did a hot sauce festival, and
nice.
Or he was part of it. And there was a ton of people there and a ton of vendors, and I was like, well, if this many people show up for hot sauce in Portland, like, surely he can put together something for guitar pedals in the heart of Brooklyn. Like, it's gonna be awesome. So
yeah, dude.
If
and you can sell on the floor too. I mean, that's like a no-brainer for everyone to join.
Well, he thought he went to some events and with money, right? Like, this was kind of like the impetus for some of this. Like, he's like, he loves pedals, and he went with like a fistful of money to buy stuff, and like was bummed that he couldn't buy anything. He was like, this is dumb. Like, I don't want to go if I can't pick up any new gear. What's the point, you know?
Right.
And so
that
was a big inspiration for him, to start this event. He's like, well, I'm going to make, almost like the anti-NAMM sort of.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it makes so much sense, and someone had to do it at some point, but I don't know anybody who like had the capability or networking skills to like pull something off like this, but I knew someone out there was going to do something like this eventually,
Yeah. And well, he's got big plans too. Like, he does several events. He does taco events and like hot sauce and all this stuff. And he's actually like, he wants to do Fear the Rift this year, and then he wants to do it again next year and make it a 2-dayer. If this is all supposing that the first year goes well, and then he wants to do an East and West Coast in the third year. So, like, he really wants to do it up, and he's the guy to do it for sure.
He's going to kill it, yeah. I mean, everyone's going to be backing this. It's like, it's a no-brainer. Because NAMM is, like, crazy expensive, and you can't sell on the floor. And it's kind of like, all right, well, there's sort of a monopoly right now because it's the biggest and most well-respected event for gear, in the U.S. So if he comes up with this kind of stuff, people are just going to be like, it's not worth it to go to NAMM if I can't sell on the floor.
Yeah, to me, like, the big events that I've been to prior to going to NAMM were like kind of based around like hot rods, like there'd be like car events, I didn't go to SEMA or anything like that, which is the big automotive one, but like there's huge swap meet in Portland, and like everyone's just selling stuff. Like, that's what's cool about those things, is you go get new stuff, trade in old stuff, like that's another thing I forgot. Sam Ashes.
Yeah, dude. That's crazy.
They're going to be taking trade-ins. Sam Ash is going to be there taking trade-ins right there at the show, so you can go and grab new stuff. It's
right. Oh man, I kind of want to like buy some of the trade-in stuff.
You probably can.
Yeah. Dude, I like every other day I'll look on Reverb in the pedal section and like the not working or for parts, and like there's some serious discounted pedals there I see sometimes where I'm like, I could probably fix this. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I hopefully there's a couple like broken things that they take in and be like, yo, let me take that off your hands for cheap.
They might. I mean, you could take stuff. I'm sure they wouldn't care.
Right.
Like, this is a pretty open, like, everybody do their own thing situation. So you could probably,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And since we're plugging away at this, I should say, since we're giving this show a big plug, which it deserves, I'm very confident in it. If anybody hollers at me, I might be able to hook up a few people with some special packages that are kind of Tone Mob exclusive thingies for the event. So everyone shoot me an email, or you know where to find me.
Yeah.
So anyway. Cool.
That was very like vague, and then like I was like, I don't even know what this means. Special packages, but I mean, sounds interesting, but some stuff, I need the details.
So you need the detail? Yeah. Well, not all the details.
Email Blake for the details, I guess, in the future.
Not all the details are fully ironed out, but you can count on at least unlimited food.
Oh, sweet.
So that's one detail that is ironed out. You might be able to eat as much as you want, being since this is a food and gear based podcast. Apparently,
I think you just open the floodgates for you to get trolled via email with like food meme pictures right now.
That's okay. I love. That's completely fine. info@tonemob.com. Everybody, send me your food. Send me your food pics. I love food pics.
Yeah, there you go. There's one podcast now.
There's one thing I like better than guitar gear, and that's food.
Hell yeah!
I love
it. It's a kid show, and I've been trying so hard to keep my swear mouth in the other room.
You've done a pretty good job so far.
Thanks, man.
So how about more about Christian? What do you got cooking? Like you've been doing stuff, but what's on the roster?
So the more times we release stuff, the more we realize that we need to like keep a lot of stuff under wraps and then just like smack it out. Like for example, the data corruptor. Nobody knew about that. All of a sudden, one day they just smacked the internet.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like we're trying to do something similar to that, but we also don't have as much outreach and money as Quaker does. But taking notes on marketing in that sense. So we've been keeping a bunch of stuff under wraps. One thing I can say, because by the time this gets out, this pedal will be released.
Okay.
It's called the Power Couple. Which I've been, I guess, like teasing in Instagram and stuff. So it's like really simple utilitarian double boost, but it has one foot switch and like a giant knob for the main volume. So you pretty much tap for your first boost mode, and then the big knob controls that, and then you hold for a fifth of a second to engage the second boost.
Oh, cool.
So
is that like a set level?
No, it has an LED trimmer that you can set the level. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be out. We're launching it on Monday, this coming Monday. I forget what number that is.
Like
20 something.
20 something, yeah.
Yeah.
28th.
Yeah, 28th. Yeah. So that's something we've been kind of keeping under wraps for a bit. Not that crazy, but just a little thing to like kind of get us in that like a little over $100, less than $200 price range.
Right, kind of a utility item. Everybody needs a boost.
Right. Yeah. And it's definitely cheap enough where I feel like people could replace their existing boosts and it wouldn't like break the bank.
And you'd get two.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd get two boosts in the size of one boost.
Mm-hmm. So, and are they running series? Or are they parallel, or how are you?
They're running series. It's kind of it makes sense to think about two boost circuits running in series, but really what we're doing is changing the ratio of the gain stage. So it's a single op-amp gain stage, but we have these, for people who know what I'm talking about, like JFET switching. So we're actually switching the bias resistor to a lower or higher value, which makes it seem like more gain. And it actually is more gain. But I guess we're saving parts, and we figured out a way to instead of having two gain stages run together, we kind of were like, all right, let's just make this half of this, the first half, from 0 to, I don't know, we'll say 25 dB. That's one stage. And then we change the resistor values of the ratio of the gain, which actually goes from 25 dB into breakup zone, which yeah. So it's not actually two running in series, it's one, but we're changing the ratio of the gain.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So stoked on that. We have another thing. I don't know if I should say the name of it or not, but I feel like a few people will listen into this for sure and be like, "Oh, what is this thing?" So we're doing I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say the name of the pedal, but I'll tell you a little bit about what it does. It's a comparator-based ring modulator, which has never been done before in a guitar pedal, at least. This topology of a ring modulator. And we're also putting 1/8-inch CV jacks on the face of the pedal to integrate with modular synthesizers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're honestly have been working on trying to bridge the gap between modular stuff and guitar pedals. So we're from here on out, we're going to just be designing stuff that is, you could use it with your guitar, or you can also use it with your modular rack. We're trying to make it work well with both worlds so that people will be like, oh, I could use this instead of this, or, pretty much just make some crazy, ridiculous sounds with modular stuff and guitar pedals.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
That world has been something I've really wanted to explore and get into, but I'm hesitant because I know how addictive pedals are, and that world seems even more so. I see everybody I know that gets into modular, they're like, and then I woke up and I'd spent $10,000.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're in a great place for modular stuff, Portland-ish area. Mm-hmm. That's huge over there for modular stuff.
Yeah, I walked in. There's a store, I can't remember the name of it, that I stumbled across a couple of years ago. And I went into it thinking it was a guitar pedal store, and it was a modular store. And I was like, this looks so cool and so fun. Yeah. And then I quickly ran out because I was like, I can't.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
I'm already too into one thing.
I did that same exact thing. Well, when we were at Moog Music in Toronto with Knobs, they have a whole wall of modular stuff. And I was like, oh man, all this stuff looks so cool. And I had never touched a modular synth before. And then was like, all right, well, and I was like, can we come back here after the show is done and kind of plug into something and see what the deal is? And the guy was like, oh yeah, for sure. I'll just give you a quick rundown on this and that. And then I was flying solo, not knowing what I was doing at all, kind of just plugging stuff in and turning knobs. And I was like, all right, I can see why this is so addicting now. Mm-hmm. And since then, that was a year and a half ago, I think.
Right.
No, that was over 2 years ago.
Wow. But was that long? I remember when you went and did that. That doesn't seem like that long ago, but okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 2 years ago. I don't remember. I'm horrible with dates, but since then, me and Matt both have a 3-rack Euromodular synth situation going on. Usually a lot of kits we get, and we just build them up, and then we were like, all right, this world is so awesome, and now guitar pedals seem kind of like minuscule, and like, why can't I control the delay time with something else now? Like, we're starting to adapt that mentality of like, well, I want to control my flange time with, maybe my envelope or something of my guitar. Like, why can't I do that? So
and it's like, you can. You just have to make it happen.
Yeah. Literally, we're like, well, no one's really doing this in this way, so let's just start doing this right now. And,
it makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully at Fear the Riff we'll have the pedal I'm talking about. But if not, I don't know if we're gonna do some Winter NAMM. I want to because I like California, but I don't know, man. We don't really have a good platform to. We don't have enough money to get a booth by ourselves,
right?
But I don't want to do some like whack third party vendor thing. I like grants and Summer NAMM. That boutique pedal showcase.
Oh yeah, all about it.
That he kills it. He's one of my good friends. Like, I helped him set that whole thing up, like, physically. No, I didn't do any of the planning or anything. Right. I just went down a day before, helped him set up stuff. But I want him to do it in the winter in LA, but I don't know that he will. So I don't know.
I don't think he's going to, because he doesn't fly, and that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's just cost prohibitive. I mean, I'm not going to say he never will, but it seems like it would be really challenging. Like, really challenging.
I think so too. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to him and convince him to drive out there, and I'll go out there a day or two before and find some stuff to do it. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It could definitely be done. It's it's a lot harder. And then now that I think about it, the fact that he would drive over in some ways would make it cheaper and easier, because he could load all that stuff in a van or something.
Right.
Instead of having to, everyone has the horror stories of shipping stuff to NAMM and it getting lost. And some guy dropping it or whatever, and your whole booth's ruined. So that could actually be a good thing.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, but either way, we're going to release this pedal soon, this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of stuff. I don't know. I don't want to keep talking about it. I've said too much already.
I've said too much. There's another thing you're working on too that I almost forgot about for half a second, but I don't know if we should talk about it or not.
Yeah, well, we're working on it together. I guess that's as much as we can say.
Yeah, it'll be out in what 2 months? Yeah, 2 months.
2 months from the 27th.
Yes, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited.
Oh man,
we're such jerks right now. We're such jerks.
Well, I got to work on the PCB this weekend, and then get it fabbed and come back next week, so can send you the prototype.
I can't believe if I was a listener right now, I'd be like, you guys are horrible people.
I mean, come on, we already spilled the beans about a bunch of stuff.
Okay, we won't talk about it anymore. Stuff that we're not supposed to talk about for another 2 months. So we could. I mean, if we can't talk about things that we can't talk about, then we could always go back to casseroles.
Right. Oh man, you brought it up, dude. I mean, you're the one who's got the negative connotation with that word. I love casserole.
You have a favorite casserole?
I make Brussels sprout cheddar cheese casserole sometimes.
I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I can get on board.
I don't like meat casseroles as much, and I don't really like mayonnaise. I just look at mayonnaise as what's that? What's that procedure where they make fat people really skinny? Liposuction.
Oh yeah.
I just look at it as liposuction extract. I'm like, this is just fat. Why am I putting this in my body?
Oh, you just ruined mayonnaise for me now. I've always been
not good. It's not good for you. It's just fat that you're putting on a sandwich or whatever. You're honestly better off without it.
But I like it.
Fair. I mean, I can't tell you what not to like.
Well, like, here's a controversial subject we can get into. We're just gonna lose all of the listeners now. I feel like on the subject of mayonnaise, I feel like Miracle Whip is like it's a prank. Like you're like, hey, look, a sandwich. I'm gonna eat this sandwich with a little bit of mayonnaise on it, and then you bite into it, and you're like, what's wrong with this sandwich? Did it go bad?
Man, it's like soap.
It's like,
I don't think I've ever had Miracle Whip. Maybe I have, like, accidentally, but I've definitely never bought it before.
count your lucky stars. It's a prank. It's like it looks like mayonnaise, exactly like mayonnaise, but you got a little bit.
It's not?
It's not. It tastes like it's all tangy and weird. I think they call it a dressing. I don't remember, but it's gross.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I
so
mess
much
with like
hate
that is
on this.
cream cheese. Cream cheese is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, cream cheese is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, honestly, I buy the 3-tub thing of cream cheese, Philadelphia cream cheese at Costco. Like, me and my roommates will get a bunch of bagels and just split a tub of cream cheese.
Hook me up.
Yeah. Dude, it's like $8 at Costco for like 3 pounds of cream cheese.
Are you a fan of lox on the bagel?
What is that? Lox?
Yeah, lox. Yeah, it's like a cold smoked salmon.
Oh. I don't think I've ever had that before.
Oh, really? That seems like it would be like the thing where you're from. I thought that was like a New York thing.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, New York definitely. New York and New Jersey, bagel capital of the world. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I've ever heard of lox.
Oh, I like it on the surface of it. Doesn't really sound like a thing that I would like, but I love it. I love it on a bagel. It's so good.
Wait, so it's like a smoked salmon slice?
I think they call it like, I don't know how it's made exactly, but they call it like cold smoked. So it's kind of sushi-esque, but it's cooked. But it's hard to describe. Damn,
that sounds mad good.
I think you'd like it. If you're a sushi fan, you'd probably like it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I haven't had much sushi. I've had cheap sushi, and I thought, this is okay. But I've never had good sushi to be able to really judge whether I like it or not.
Yeah, it's weird, like the ratio of like the price of sushi. You could either get like cheap gas station sushi, and you're like, this is okay. But if you spend like $2 more on like a nice, maybe $2-3 more on a nice roll, it's like worlds different.
Gas station sushi sounds like some sort of punk rock band.
Yeah, it probably is, dude. There's probably, look it up, Bandcamp. Gas station sushi 1, gas station sushi 2.
If there's not, then I feel like I should start one.
Yeah, do it, dude.
Gas station sushi, and we just play like the like trashiest like crust punk ever.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, you're a fuzz guy. You've got the weapons for that.
I do. I'm standing here out in the shred shed, and I got at least. I'm usually not. Yep. There's one right there. I'm usually not much more than arm's length away from a fuzz when I'm out here.
That's rad. Yep. Dude. I love the shred shed. That's an awesome name.
Yeah, it was the Tone Cave for a while, but like Wampler calls his the Shred Shed, and I think that sounds so much cooler and funnier.
That's awesome.
It's been the Shred Shed for a while. It was the Tone Cave, and that's not bad, but I like Shred Shed better.
Yeah, dude, perfect name.
I should like put a sign up.
Yeah, dude. I actually just got a CNC like a few weeks ago that I've been trying to figure out how to use pretty much, and like I need to start with some wood stuff, so maybe I'll make a sign that says Shred Shed.
That would be amazing. That would be so cool.
Yeah, dude.
I used to call it, like I had a name for it because it was going to be sort of and it still might eventually. When I built it, it was going to be like a place where I was going to do home brewing and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And so we called it the Bee Room. like the B room, like I don't know, the Blake room, the B room like we were kind of considering it the B room to my buddy Leon's studio. Leon from Pelican Noise Works, he's got a small studio, and we thought, well, this could be the B room because we live in the same city. Right. So we called it the B Room Brewery, and my sister like made up this. She painted this really awesome sign, and then I got all my gear out here and went, I don't have room to homebrew out here. Like, what was I thinking? Like, we're not going to be able to, I mean, not that it took up the whole room, but it's like, we're not going to be able to have a band practice out here and have the home brewing and do like, it's just not big enough. So I got this rad sign that she painted up for me, and it doesn't really, it just looks cool. There's no home brewing going on.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, you could just put an extension on there, Just build an extension of the shed, or the shred shed.
I've thought about it. I could go forward. The problem is, I built another shed. I'm like slowly consuming my small, my small lot that I live on with buildings and structures. Like I built this, and I took up some room, and then I built another shed for like garden stuff, like and then I'm building another. Like a play structure for my son. So like pretty soon I'm not going to have any grass, which is going to be pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. If you don't have any grass, then you just get rid of the garden stuff.
Oh, that's true. And I could just morph that into the brewery.
Yeah. There you go.
Good idea. Good idea.
I have grass for some brew.
I like it.
Dude, that'd be sweet. I can't imagine your house, honestly. Well, I've never been to Oregon, and all I think of when I think of Oregon is like giant trees and like Portland. And I know that sounds like I don't know what the word is. Not pretentious, but like
stereotypical.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So mine's kind of like I'm just outside of Portland. I'm in the burbs, and so it's like. It's a very standard, like built in the 1970s ranch style house, on a okay sized lot, just kind of, and it's like a 70s built subdivision basically. I do have a big tree in the backyard, but that is not the tree you would think of. It's like an oak tree. I actually don't know what kind of tree it is because I don't know what trees are, but it's not an evergreen tree. It's like a broadleaf tree. I think it's oak. But yeah.
I mean, you guys definitely get winters up there. There's probably some evergreens popping up around.
Oh, it's mostly evergreens. It's just the one. Like if you were to imagine a tree in my backyard, you were probably thinking like a Doug fir or something. But it's not.
Yeah.
It's a regular leaf dropping tree.
Right. And that's like the trees that I grew up with in New Jersey. I feel like similar. So I don't know anything about trees either. So it's like, I don't know, oak tree, maybe pine tree. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Regular trees that you would draw in a like children's drawing.
Right. Just like when you picture tree, like that's a tree. Totally. This has been really successfully. I didn't know that this would happen, but I've noticed that the more podcasting I do, the more random each episode seems to get, and I really hope that doesn't bother anyone. But like when I get return guests, it's like, well, I already asked you all the guitar questions,
right?
So now what?
Yeah,
we talk about Miracle Whip.
Yeah, random stuff. I mean, I'm totally cool with it being random. It's more entertaining for me to talk about random stuff because honestly, I get I don't want to say bored, but I get agitated when I just talk about gear all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, I love it, and I do that kind of stuff, but it's like it's not the only thing that I'm interested in.
Right. I also eat sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly.
I was told on the last Chasing Tone that I made some controversial statements about bologna.
I read that comment just before.
I forgot who said it, and I feel horrible. But I guess I don't want to taint your opinion on bologna before I ask you the question. But how do you feel about bologna?
Well, there's like a whole like ethical side, which I'll get into after this. But growing up, my mom would make bologna sandwiches for me and my brother, and like I would take them to school and stuff, and then I would get to like the cafeteria. This was like grade school, and I'd like take a bite, and I'd just be like, ugh, like do not like this at all.
Right.
And then when you're a kid, you kind of are like hesitant to tell your mom that she made you a bad lunch. So you just kind of eat it. Well, I guess I was. My mom's a great person, and like not hating on her, but I definitely had some like issues talking to her when I was younger about the food, because she was like, we're not, rich. We can't afford to get all this great food. So she would buy bologna, and I'd be like, but I don't like bologna. I don't want to eat this, so, but she would be like, stop complaining. Like, we have food. Like, we're lucky enough to have food. And I'd be like, all right, you're right, but I still don't like it.
Yeah.
But and now, like, being old enough to shop for myself and get my own food and stuff like that, I don't like bologna still, just the texture and the taste of it. But then there's like the ethical side of it, where I like the idea of them recycling like bones and stuff. Well, I don't know what goes into it, but I hear not great things.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like I like meat, and I like meat a lot. But like I feel like I like sausages and all kinds of processed things. They're not good for you, but they're I like a good gourmet sausage or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that seems like another level of processing that if I don't have to eat it, I'd rather not. It's like it's just that much more extreme.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a piece of like smoked ham. And I know that that's salted and processed too, but that's just a whole nother, like, bologna's a whole nother level to me.
Right. Yeah,
I don't
definitely is. It's weird, man. I mean, it's not a meat from like one thing, right? It's like it's like a sausage, like a mixture of different weird meats and like ground up like animal bones and stuff.
Yeah, which kind of trips me out a little bit. Just like, I don't know. Like I said, I would eat it if I had to. Like if that's what I had to eat, and it was that, or I was not going to eat food, then like, well, okay.
Yeah, dude. You heard the story I said before. I totally ate it. I was hungry. It wasn't getting anything else,
Yeah. So I think we both feel kind of the same about bologna.
Yeah. My girlfriend, on the other hand, loves bologna, and she's very conscious of what it is and what's in it. And she's like, "Yeah, I don't care. It tastes good to me."
Hey,
like,
all right.
The
same thing could be said about like a ballpark, Oscar Mayer Frank. Like they're not good for you. Like I remember I was looking at the nutrition. Like they're delicious though in some weird garbage way, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's like I remember looking at it like thinking, this is a pretty sizable piece of meat product. And I looked at the label and I was like, but there's only 8 grams of protein in it somehow.
Right.
Like, what is the rest of that?
I don't know, dude. Plastic, maybe? I have no idea.
I don't know, but they are kind of good. I don't eat them all the time, but they're good in a bad way.
Right.
Somehow, there's lots of things that fit in that category.
Yeah, like garbage plates. Garbage plates are, they're not good for you at all. It's like a lot of calories in such a small portion, but it tastes amazing.
Yeah. It's good. There's a lot of good in a bad way things.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this podcast is one of them.
Right. Oh my God.
It's not good for you.
I don't think so, man. I mean, it's nice to listen to. I'm sure there's guys like driving around. I've definitely listened to some of the episodes of this show of like driving to NAMM and stuff. So I think it's good. I mean, I enjoy this show once in a while. I can't listen to it like every day. You know what I mean? I'm not a podcast guy, but it's nothing against the show, Blake.
Okay, I won't take it too personally. No, I mean it's not for everybody. The format, like, there's some guys. There's some guy. Shout out to Jamie Davis. He doesn't listen much, but he's like active in the groups and stuff. But he doesn't listen because interview style podcasts put him to sleep, and he's trying to drive to work.
Right.
So it's like he can't be asleep. But maybe he'll actually listen to this one. We'll find out.
Yeah.
He'll let me know if he does.
I think this is less of an interview thing and more of just two guys talking about random stuff. Like, we're just having a conversation, you know?
Well, this episode for sure. Yeah. I mean, anytime most of the time, if it's somebody's first time on, it's more focused because it's like, I do want to know that what they have going on. But then when it's somebody who's been on and I've talked to on a regular basis, for a while, it's like, I already know. And most people already know because they heard you the first time.
Right.
And so it's kind of a thing where it's like, well, like I said before we started recording, we'll just riff.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. I mean, there is also something to be said, like, oh, well, I guess this is why I'm thinking of this. I've been watching a lot of Forensic Files on Netflix, and they like stopped making that show a while ago, but actually shout out to Dan and Tomcat because we were talking about Forensic Files at NAMM. But in the show Forensic Files, they start and they're like, okay, here's the like 30 seconds of this episode, and then cue the theme song, right? And then they cut to commercial, and then like fade to black, cut to where the commercial would be. It's not in Netflix, but then they fade up from black, do like 15 minutes of the episode, and then they do some sort of like hook, line, sinker thing, and then like fade to black where the commercial would be.
Right.
And then they come back and they're like, earlier in this episode, blah, 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 and this and that happened. So I feel like, you know, going back to the people who've listened before, maybe they haven't listened to the one before, you know, and they're tuning in for the first time, and then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that he did one before.
That's a good point. I should probably I think I do. And I usually call them like, you know, number 2 or something like when I put it out there. So this would be probably pretty awful listening if nobody knew about the first time. So I guess it's a good thing that we reiterated that point.
I think this one's way more entertaining than the last time, honestly.
I'm equally entertained. I always have a good time talking with you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, me too, man. Yeah, we riff really well, I think.
I think so too. We could do a podcast. Maybe we should start that food podcast.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we'll what was the guy's name? Jamie, who does Fear the Riff.
Johnny.
Johnny. Yeah. It'd be like, Johnny, let us do something about like the taco, you know, festival that he does, or the hot sauce festival, and we'll just go and we'll do the podcast at the festival the whole time.
That would be pretty amazing, actually.
We can have like headsets on, you know, like airplane style headsets, like noise canceling headsets, and we'll just record walking through, tasting the tacos. I just want to do it for the tacos, man.
No, I understand. It was amazing. This is a kind of, I don't know what Fear the Riff's going to be like exactly, but just to put in perspective what this hot sauce event had going on, they had 100 billion hot sauce vendors and food and all that stuff, and then
I
they had
almost took that as a serious number, and I was like, wait a second, that's not. That
you said
100 billion. I was like, oh wait, I thought you were going to be like 100,000. I was like, okay, that's realistic, maybe. But then you said 100 billion, and I was like, all right, no, he's kidding. But I get the idea.
I don't know how many there were. Probably legit, probably 40 or 50. There was a lot. I don't know. But they also had, amongst the hot sauce tasting, they had a Chihuahua beauty pageant. And they had a couple other, they had people trying to eat the hottest peppers in the world thing. There was a Guinness World Record event. I can't remember exactly the details on it, but there was a guy who was going to try to eat. There was several people trying to break the record of eating all these just gut-wrenchingly hot, obscenely hot peppers.
Oh, man.
They had
that
that going
Japanese
on.
guy there? The Japanese guy who ate all those hot dogs?
Oh, Kobayashi? No, he wasn't there. I think this is a different kind of skill. It's not it's the volume of it's not really that much, but they're so hot. Right. Johnny was telling me he tried some of the stuff one time and he was doubled over in pain after eating it because it was just it's just the craziest, way too hot for human consumption.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so they had that, and they had a little before we got there, they had luchador wrestling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had a whole this guy puts on an event. He puts on an event. It's legit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a hot sauce vendor, I feel like all things macho, luchador, chihuahua, it kind of sounds like a South American festival.
It was very American, but yeah, definitely had its inspirations from there. So
nice.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna have to check out his other festivals. Maybe I'll talk to him at Fear the Riff, and I'll be like, all right, so let's do a Garbage Plate Festival, Rochester, New York.
He'd probably do it, honestly. Like, he's very like, let's do it. Like, he loves doing things. So
there is a huge tattoo convention in April here, where like there's like people that come from all over the world to like come to this like hotel, I guess, and then the whole thing in the hotel is like just a tattooing expo or whatever. So I don't know. I'll talk to him. I'll see what he says.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to find out that like he has something to do with it.
Probably.
He's a very busy dude, and everything he does sounds like a lot of fun.
Right.
So
yeah, I believe it. Everything that you've told me about all the expos and stuff he's done sounds. I like want to do that today. I want to go to that taco thing today.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good time. Like it was. That's why I'm so excited about Fear the Riff. I think it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
I think it's. I mean, the first year there might be some teething problems. Who knows? I'm not running the event, so I don't want to promise anything. But it all signs point to goodness. So
yeah, that's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be great.
And if you're listening to this and you're a builder or a vendor, you should totally check it out. It's not that expensive either. So
yeah, it's not. It's like way less expensive than NAMM. It's so affordable, honestly.
Yeah, you just probably have to sell a handful of pedals, and you'll be in the black. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
So anyway, well, we've crested the hour mark. Is there anything that you need to plug or any shout outs you need to do before we hop on?
Man, kind of sprung it on me. I feel like I should shout out the guys who like are building adventure pedals now. Joe and Dan, they are like, honestly, like I'm getting less away from like building them and like designing them and figuring out how to market them, and they're just like killing it building them. So
nice.
Really appreciate those guys. Really appreciate Matt, who's been designing stuff and like working his butt off like crazy, getting new stuff designed so we can push it, you know, the American dream, I guess.
Right.
I guess, shout out to Brandon from Elevation Boutiques, too. He's done a lot of our marketing and, like, dealer relations and stuff like that. Oh, and also we're going to be in Chicago Music Exchange this week, so that's kind of dope.
Oh, that's awesome.
Things are really on the up. I guess that's all the shout-outs I have, really. Shout out to you, man.
Oh,
Tom Bob.
Thanks, I'm right here.
Yeah.
If somebody's made it to this point, they know. I think they know what I'm about.
Yeah. Well, I'm shouting you out anyway, just for being the dude.
Oh, well, thanks. That means a lot.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that. Well, I guess that's it. Everybody know where to find you on the internet and so on and so forth. If you want to check out Christian stuff, he's on Instagram at Adventure Audio. Website is it Adventure Audio or is it Adventure Pedals?
It's adventurepedals.com.
Okay. So check out what he's got going on. He's got a lot of stuff. The whatever is I don't know if I've said this publicly or not, but it's got my favorite shimmer setting I've ever heard.
Nice.
I don't know what kind of magic you did there, but it doesn't sound like a normal shimmer. Did we talk about this before?
I think we did. It's not really a normal shimmer. Like if you would imagine a shimmer, it's way more aggressive. But it's got something. I don't know. You've done something there. There's some magic in there. There's a different interval or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's wacky.
I love it.
Yeah,
so
check it out on the site. You know, whatever YouTube demos you find, I'm sure you'll see it.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone, if you don't like Shimmer, check out the whatever, but you may come around. So there you go.
Sweet.
All right, man. Well, as always, thanks for coming on. And
man.
For Christian, this is Blake. Good luck and good tones. All right, guys. That was a fun chat with Christian. I hope that the food talk was enough for you. I mean, we could always discuss the merits of casserole on another episode if you would so like. So now that's just kind of what happens when two dudes get together and start rambling. That's we tend to talk about food when I'm involved. But just wanted to let you know, I apologize for the somewhat spotty, or very spotty rather, release of these lately. Things have been absolutely insane, but I will say that I've got some great stuff lined up for you. We should be, if all goes according to plan, we should be a little more consistent here in the coming months. And if all goes according to plan, definitely in 2018. So things are really taking a turn around here. So in a good way. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review on iTunes. Don't forget you can email me at info@tonemob.com. You can join in the Facebook groups where we're always talking gear, talking nonsense. Maybe even we'll discuss casseroles this time. Who knows? And all that other good stuff. So take care. Have a good week.
One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.